Political discourse is very superficial nowadays. It's not really a healthy conversation. It's just people disagreeing about where to direct their outrage. Conservatives are outraged about the war on Christmas. Liberals are outraged that the United States didn't single-handedly save Aleppo. Libertarians are outraged that people know what Aleppo is. I'm in awe of Gary Johnson, a Libertarian presidential candidate for 2016. I love the way that he allocates his knowledge, because there was one interview in which they asked him about marijuana, and he went into detail about the different strains of weed. He said there's sativa and there's indica. Sativa is primarily THC and indica is primarily CBD. Sativa is clean your house marijuana with a smile on your face, and indica is go to sleep marijuana. He was an expert. But then in another interview, they asked him about his thoughts on Aleppo, and he said, "What is Aleppo? Is that a type of sativa?" And right after I saw that on TV, I went online and looked up what Aleppo is. And when I found out that it's a city in Syria, I said, wow. Gary Johnson is a fucking idiot. I was outraged. Everybody's outraged. Radical feminists are outraged that the Star Wars franchise doesn't have enough transgender Eskimos. Radical Islamists are outraged that some people are alive. It's ridiculous. I went to a poetry slam recently. All the poets were outraged. A poetry slam, if you don't know, is a performance poetry competition. And if you've been to one, you know that there are some poems that make a lot of sense, and they make you see the world in a totally new way, and they make you feel things that you've never felt before. And those poems lose the competition 100% of the time. At the poetry slam that I went to, it was a packed room, and the winning poem was called "I'm a Slut and I'm Proud." And it was all about how when guys have a lot of sex, people say they're awesome. But when girls have a lot of sex, people say they're sluts. And I agree that that is a sexist double standard, but I don't think that the kind of people that call girls sluts spend their free time watching slam poetry. I mean, do you really think that misogynistic men ever take a break from spousal abuse to check out some slam poetry? Slam poetry always shows up on my Facebook. I have mixed feelings about Facebook. Facebook has a section at the side of the page that says trending, and trending has a list of topics that people are talking about the most. And the first few topics are always really interesting, like Beyonce. And you click on it and it says, Beyonce gives a stunning performance at the Grammys. And then there's another huge, widely appealing story like Emma Watson. And it says, sources confirm that Emma Watson may be bisexual. But then after those stories, there's always a bunch of random other stories that no one really cares about. Like Syria. Or some shit, you know, just random, stupid stories.